Welcome everyone to another edition of A Drunk Agile. With me, as always, is I think
Prateek
starting out
Singh.
sober, Prateek Singh. I think you're sober right
Yeah,
now, right? Okay.
yeah,
Hopefully that'll change over the course of the
we
next
will change that.
15, 20 minutes. My name is Daniel Vacanti. Thank you, as always, for joining us. Prateek, what are you drinking? Get us off quick.
Uh, I've got Fettercairn rum cask matured, 15 years, 53.5%. Yeah.
I can't remember. Did I try that the last time I was over there? I can't remember.
You did. I don't think you liked it as much as I did,
Probably
but
not, because you're weird.
yeah.
All right, I'm changing things up a little bit tonight. I don't know, I might be breaking the rules, I might not, but I've got an Armagnac. Um,
Huh,
1999, 48 and a half. It's distilled, so I think it counts.
it counts.
And the original drink before it was distilled started with a W. So I mean, I think that counts. So anyway,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, nice
Cheers.
color too, I think. Cheers, everyone.
Huh.
Thanks for joining us. Should drink.
Mhm.
We're going back to kind of a theme that we did a while back. I think roughly mid last year or something like that.
Yeah.
We did a whole bunch on hey, this word that you know and love, it's not what you think it is. So tonight we're picking that theme back up, and specifically around the word probability. Probability, it's not what you think it is. Without any more, I guess, without any more context than that, Pratik, can you kick us off and tell us what we really mean by that?
Yeah, I mean, that's just basic. I want to say definition, but at least description of probability. Um, you have multiple possible outcomes. The chances that a particular outcome will happen is the probability of that outcome. You have a six-sided die, which means and each side of that die has an equal chance of coming up, each of the likelihoods, so the probability of rolling a six is 16.67%. That's what probability is in this basic. Um, when we talk about probability, most of the time we're talking about the risk associated with a particular outcome. We have planned to do 50 things. What's the probability that we'll actually get this done? What's the probability we'll not get this done? Um, that is the particular thing that we are talking about, as it is not really what you think it is, in our context at least.
Those of you who are math geeks out there, you know where Pratik was. He's trying to be careful, maybe not so careful, sidestepping the whole philosophical debate of frequentist versus Bayesian
Versus Bayesian.
interpretations of
Yeah.
probability. And I'm going to put words in your mouth, Pratik, and I'm going to say the. I think the reason that he's doing that, well, he's trying to not step on that particular landmine. Although we'll get into easy for you to say. Although we'll get into that, I think a little bit is that both have their place. I mean, whether you're a Bayesian thinker, whether you're a frequentist thinker, my personal opinion is both probably have their place and both probably have their application. And the trick is really just trying to understand what to use when. The thing I will say though is that even if you are a hardcore frequentist, I still think, especially the way that Pratik and I talk about, say, continuous forecasting, um, I still think there's something you can take away from the more Bayesian side of things in that, if you think about probability more as a measure of your degree of belief in something. And so you think the world works one way, and then you get some new information, and that new information should at least cause you to question your belief. Whether you change your belief or not, that's a completely different story,
Mhm.
different conversation. But that new information, I think, should at least cause you to change that belief. And um, you know, for me, that's Bayesian thinking. I'm not necessarily talking about the formula. I'm not necessarily talking about the mathematics behind it, but it's more of you have formed some opinion about the way the world should work. You get some new information. Does that new information change your belief? And I think whether you're frequentist, whether you're Bayesian, I personally think that's the right approach to this whole probability thing. Prateek, help me out.
Yeah, there if you and we had this conversation in definitely had this conversation in another episode of let's say your model tells you you will get 20 things done and you get 25 done or you get 15 done, whatever that is. Was the model wrong, or was your interpretation wrong, or did the system change in between? Did the in other words, was your understanding of the world wrong, or did the world change? And when Dan talks about Bayesian thinking, that is literally the way to incorporate this new information. We thought things worked a certain way. We thought we were very confident on getting 20 things done. Something changed. We got information that we can only get 15 done. Something changed. Do we incorporate that information in our predictions, or do we just go, oh no, we said 20, so we're going to stick with 20?
And so that, for me, that's exactly why we go on and on and on about continuous forecasting, is because we are constantly getting bombarded by new information. Whether we are open to that new information, whether we realize that that new information is coming in, I'm talking about in our daily professional lives, by the way. Well, I guess in our personal lives too, for that matter,
Yeah.
but specifically in our professional lives. There's always new information coming in. And we don't I say this all the time, but we definitely don't want to get stuck in this world of, well, we got the plan, and that's the plan. And we came up with a plan, man, because that's the plan, we got to work the plan. And I mean,
Yeah.
and so many, I would say even agile frameworks, even though I would say that the essence of agile is being able to change, even agile frameworks get stuck in this mode of, hey, we've got this plan, and if we don't hit this plan, we failed. Well, no, all the things that Prateek just talked about could have happened. You got some new information, so let's be open to that new information, and let's kind of figure out what's going on, or at least take our best guess at what's going on.
Yeah, it's I know it's I don't know why. For some reason, a long time ago, I was told that people don't like sports analogies, but I
I
just
think only agile people don't like sports analogies. I don't
it's
know.
like, to me, my head just goes to sports.
Yeah.
If if I am a coach of a team showing up, and it's been set up that, hey, all the odds makers have said 70% chance your team's going to win. You play the way you play, they play the way they play, you're going to win. And things start going wrong like 10 minutes into the game, and those odds are shifting because things are going wrong. I would change things. I would change my strategy. I would change my approach. I would talk to my players differently. I wouldn't just sit back and go, it says 70%. We just keep going. 70% will work. And this is kind of Dan and I are geeks. We every sport I think that we watch, we know a website that tells us who has a higher probability of winning at this point and continuously forecasts it, because these things happen. Things change regardless of how you initially planned, regardless of how good your strategy is. As things change, you get new information. Hence, continuous forecasting.
I think not to belabor the point too much, but for me, one of the best recent examples of that, apologies for the American football reference, but not this season, but last season, the New York Jets had just acquired Aaron Rodgers, one of the best quarterbacks in history. And everybody's talking about how the Jets, I mean, not only were the Jets going to turn their season around, but they were going to make the playoffs, and they were even a Super Bowl contender. And what was it? Was it the first play from scrimmage?
Was that the first play?
It was the
It was
first or
definitely
second. It was one of the
it was
first
definitely
few.
the first quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of the first game of the season. It's one of the first plays that Aaron Rodgers plays. He tears his Achilles, right? Out for the season. Now, that's some new information. What do you think the second Aaron Rodgers goes out? What do you think the chances are of the Jets actually making the Super Bowl at that point? I don't care what your models told you before. Things have changed, and we got to react accordingly.
I mean, it is the Jets.
I, I didn't want to go there in case there are any Jets fans out there. You know?
I think they will agree.
They probably would, but I have to say I feel for the Jets. You
Yeah.
know, I feel
Yeah.
they really have been lucky. I mean, the only thing you can say about the Jets is, hey, at least we're not the Browns, right? At least, yeah.
All right. So
With apologies to Cleveland.
before we piss more cities off, I mean, we're fine once to talk. We're in Miami.
Yeah,
So
that's true. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, back to the topic at hand. Help us get back to the topic at hand, Poe.
Yeah. So and this is exactly where as Dan said earlier, our preference for continuous forecasting comes in. Because continuous forecasting is that method of taking the latest information into account to not just find out if your plans are if your initial plans are going to work out or not. That's probably a minor part of this, but to actually know from this point on what is a potential good course to take forward, what adjustments do we need to make. That this continuous forecasting, it helps you do exactly what it helps coaches in sports do. Just got information, looks like our chances of winning are going down. We need to change something. What do we change so that those chances keep going back in the other direction?
Yep. Do you mind if I wrap us up? I mean, because there's one thing I just wanted to add to that. This is where I'm glad we saved to the end of the episode to get really philosophical. But for me, this is where the English language especially is deficient. I don't know if any other, maybe some of you can help us out and leave a comment. I don't know if any other languages are better at this. But unfortunately, the English language just has that one word to cover all these things we've talked about. Probability, right? And probability, depending on context, it could mean a frequentist view. It could mean a Bayesian view. It potentially could mean even something else, or maybe even something in between. And so I think that's really what we're talking about. If you just get away from however you're anchored in your definition, your own personal definition of probability. For me, we believe that you're going to be much, much more successful if it's more about, and it's such a cliche when you say, oh, it's a way of thinking, right? It's a mindset, but it really is, it's like, think about this concept of, we've got some new information. What are we really going to do with this new information? And how should that new information, change the way we act? So take from that what you will, but every time I think in our past episodes, any episodes going forward, when Prateek and I say probability, that's really, I'm putting words in your mouth, but that's really how I think that we see that playing out. So I said I'd take us home. I'm happy to give you any last word on this or kill it from here.
I'll say it. So
say it.
The probability is not deterministic. You cannot be deterministic when thinking about probability. That's essentially what we're trying to say. Understand probability as that likelihood, which is also very likely to change.
So what do all of you think? Do you agree with our approach to probability? Do you have a better definition? What has worked for you? Leave us a comment. Let us know. We always love to hear from all of you. In fact, I think this whole discussion, I think, was inspired by some of the comments that we're reading on past videos. So we always welcome feedback from our loyal listeners, our loyal watchers, however you are consuming this content. So with that in mind, we want to say thank you so much for being with us here, and we will see you in the next episode. Good night, everyone.
Yes.